Welcome to Learning Life Skills Together. This is our weekly community Zoom meeting where our guests help us to go deeper into the 4 life skills and open up a huge array of chances to practice them. Hello, everyone. This is Learning Life Skills Together weekly Zoom meeting number 77. And I'm here today with Rebecca Piorki-Shelly from Justice Works YouthCare. And Rebecca is going to tell us a lot more about that. But as always, we're going to take a little pause, do a little practice, and get ourselves ready to pay attention and maybe communicate as well. So wherever you are, whatever's going on with you, you could put a pause into that as best you can. So if you happen to be sitting down somewhere, you might even be able to close your eyes to do this, to put that pause in. Some people find that helps them to get in touch with themselves. Otherwise, if you're standing or lying down, you can just sort of get in touch with where you are right now, what's going on with you. So the easiest way to come into the present moment, which is where everything happens and when everything happens, is to feel your body. So just noticing your posture and how gravity is holding you, how much work you're doing to be sitting or standing or lying down the way you are. If you're lucky in where you are and what you're doing, maybe you could just let gravity hold you. So you could let go of some effort that might be in it right now for you. Just allowing yourself to be held. And so we're going to be talking and listening today, and it's really a good, solid practice to pay attention to the sounds around you. So maybe you could tune into whatever sounds happen to show up at your eardrum. Here's the thing of it. Sounds just show up. We don't choose them. And so it's useful to learn that we don't have to judge them, that we can just let them happen, have their little life, and be done. Sounds are there and over, sometimes very quickly. So just tuning into the sounds around you. Maybe there are sounds up close. Maybe there are sounds farther away. Maybe there are sounds that are really very short. Maybe there are sounds that have been going on since we started. So just letting the sounds come and go. We don't need to judge them. We don't need to say, well, I like that one. I'd prefer not to have that one. Just letting them happen and letting them go. So we're kind of listening without judging. And if you notice that you are judging, hmm, maybe you can just take a step back. If you notice that you're thinking about something else entirely, you could take a step forward into listening again. And now, when you're ready, you could take a deeper breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And maybe another one. And actually, that felt pretty good to me. I'm going to take one more. You could too. And opening your eyes when you're ready. So, Rebecca, since you're the one that I can ask, everybody else is streaming this. How was that for you?
Oh, that was amazing. I am doing this recording today from home, and I have a cat water fountain, an automatic water fountain. And all I could hear was the water fountain, which was like, I
Hmm.
felt like I was like, I don't know, sort of kind of at the beach for a few minutes. It was kind of, that was really
Ah,
pretty cool.
okay.
I focused on that sound, and that was very relaxing.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So,
Hmm.
I mean, being able to listen is kind of key to our being together as humans, you know.
True, true.
So it's a big part of the skill that we're just starting to work on in learning life skills together. And that's the skill of effective communication. And so I just want to put that out there, maybe as a background to what you might say about Justice Works and your work at Justice.
Well, communication clearly is the foundation of well what I've done my whole life. I've had
Mm.
a variety of work throughout Chester County, but currently as the mentor program coordinator, communication, listening, actively listening as best as I can, because that's always a skill I'm constantly working on, and having the appropriate feedback or no feedback at all when appropriate, is critical for success in a mentor mentee relationship, in my relationship with my volunteer mentors, my coworkers, my agency, my life, my husband, everywhere, right? Everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's that listening without judging, without having to come back immediately. Something.
It's, I think as if we as humans are being honest, and I kind of try to practice that as best as I can. Sometimes we judge, right? Sometimes we
We
judge. We're
do.
human,
We're good at it.
yeah, we are, aren't we? you know and I really work hard. Sometimes it's easier to not judge those I'm working with, my mentors and my mentees, than perhaps like my sister or brother or my husband. Like
Mhm.
sometimes
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not so easy there.
absolutely. And so that's why we practice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So could you give us a little background on Justice Works and sort of what it does overall, and then what the mentor piece is?
I would be happy to. So, Justice Works YouthCare is an agency that has been around about, I think we had our 25th anniversary. We're 26 or 27 years strong. Our CEO, Dan Height, is out of the Pittsburgh area, and that's where the original, the founding office is. That's where we started. And we are actually located in several states at this point. over to Colorado and Ohio. I think we were in Texas. I'm not sure if we're still there, but we're up and down the eastern coastline. And we're an agency that has a variety of services. So we do things from transportation to juvenile justice programs, coordinating with agencies and county entities across the United States, including Chester County, where we help children that are involved in the juvenile justice system and their families, to give them support and guidance to help the kiddo get out of the juvenile justice system, hopefully successfully. We do family counseling, family resource-based work, again, practices and programs that are across our different programs in the states. We have some variety of other things in other states. I can't speak expertly to all of those, but here in Chester County, we do have a transportation program, a very much needed transportation program for families being served by juvenile probation or children, youth, and families, CYF, to help them get where they need to be, and the kiddos or families need to get where they need to be. We have a visit coaching program, which is a program to help parents learn how to reunify with their children that have been removed from them for a variety of reasons. We have a Thinking for a Change, which is called T4C. It's a group process for adolescent boys that are in the juvenile probation department. We also have a family engagement coordinator who helps families with everything, and I mean everything, that are connected through juvenile probation and or CYF. And let's see, what else do we have? We have my mentor program. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And it is a program that has been established here in Chester County since November of 2019. So we're a little over 5 years into this program. It's I often tell people so that they can make a connection if they're not familiar with mentoring. A lot of people know of Big Brothers Big Sisters,
Hmm.
and it's one-on-one mentoring, kind of like that, only it's through Justice Works YouthCare, right? And the little caveat to that is that the organization Big Brothers Big Sisters, they have a whole entity where they provide free training, mentoring for me, and all kinds of continuing educational opportunities for me and for my mentors to attend, to do better, to be able to do what we're doing better.
Mm.
And the mentor program is a volunteer-based program as well. I think it's important for folks to know that the mentors are volunteers, and they come in and mentor children ages 14 to 23 that are located in Chester County. The mentor doesn't have to come from Chester County. They can come from anywhere as long as they're willing to come into Chester County and
Mm.
serve that child, or be with that child, I should say. Really, it's not a service, it's being with. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of like a little overview, if you will.
Yeah, well, that being with the child is a really important thing, and I think it links right into the communications thing that we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I would imagine that kids come into this in all kinds of emotional states and all kinds of ways. And so how do you think about who mentors whom? For one?
Mm-hmm.
How does that go?
Yeah. So the kids that get referred into the program, so I receive referrals. So the referrals can come in from Children, Youth, and Families, CYF of Chester County, and I also have the ability to take community referrals. So what a community referral means is, like, say a church has a child they think that could use a mentor, or a Boy Scout troop, or a Girl Scout troop, or the YWCA, something of that nature.
Right.
They could reach out to me and they could put in a referral. So the kiddos that come in, again, aged 14 to 23, we serve both boys and girls. And those kids, they come in because they want a mentor. I think it's super important for the audience to know that they want to build this relationship. And these kids, could be having some struggles in oh my gosh, in a variety of ways, right? Like, so we know today, gosh, especially in today's environment, since COVID, and um, even before that, but really since COVID, and we all know everything that everyone has been through with that, is that they may have higher anxiety levels. They may feel some social isolation still, some peer struggles, some struggles in relating to older persons older than them. I don't mean like senior citizens. I mean anyone, any adult. That
Right.
they might
Yeah.
not have a regular relationship, or the trust issues. So the thing that I really try to communicate again with my mentors that come in is that they need to be able to be ready for any of that. But here's how the matchmaking occurs, and here's how when I get the referrals for the kiddos, and when volunteer mentors come into the program, this is what happens. So every young person that comes into the program, I sit down like this, hopefully not in Zoom. And there's nothing wrong with Zoom. Okay, but my intention is, and I think it's a more meaningful interaction. I sit down with the young person face to face with their parent and or guardian or parents, whatever the household structure looks like, and really sit down and talk to this young person. What do you want? What don't you want? Okay, and what could we do here, and what do you hope to get out of having a relationship with an adult, and things that you would like to do, like really get into a good conversation. I mean, spend as much time as they would like to spend with me is as much time
Mm,
as I will
yeah.
I will give them. 15 minutes. I have sat down with a young person for 3 hours and talked and talked and talked, um, and to really get into it, and they get to know me a little bit better and get to see where I'm coming from. That I'm just not this fly by the seat of your pants overnight program. Like, oh hi, it's nice to meet you. It's real legit, and there's a commitment there. And so I do the same thing with the mentors coming in. So individuals that are interested in becoming a mentor, I always set up a meeting with them face to face. We can go out and have a cup of coffee. We can go out and have a bite to eat, and sit and talk. Why do you want to do this? What are your interests? What age kid would you like to be with? Again, what would you like, and what would you not like to do? And find out everything that I possibly can. And again, they get to know me. They get to ask me questions. They get to get really into like, well, what if this happens, or what if that happens? What do I do, and how can I reach you? And there's a whole component there of that kind of conversation that takes place. Again, I'm sure that the audience can hear, communication with this young person, critical, essential, needed. Communication with the prospective mentor, you know, again, needs to be thorough, needs to be open, needs to be consistent, needs to be there. And that's what I really strive to do. Um, and so when we have, mentors and mentees, I go through the list and I look, what does this person like and what doesn't this person like? And
Mm,
the whole nine.
right.
So I'm little Miss Matchmaker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
you
you've
know,
got a lot, and you've got a lot of background. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have, like you said, Don, I have all the information. I don't have all of it, but I have a lot of it.
You have a lot.
And
Yeah.
and so I look to see who would be good. I go to the kiddo and say, I have, Mr. or Mrs. So and so. They seem to have some things that you might like. Would you like to meet them? Yes or no? Give it a try. And then I go to that person, do the same thing. Would you like to meet them? Yes or no? We get a yes. Then I facilitate that meeting. So
Mm,
we get the kiddo and the parents if needed, or foster parents, or whoever may be involved, and the mentor, and we all get together and talk.
wow.
And then,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
then, yeah, which is super important. But in
it
addition to that,
is.
I'm there, but then I do the initial. And also, what I think is like I'm kind of in earshot, but I actually move away. Okay. I move away from the two
Mm,
of them talking, and I might go over to the next room if we're in the person's house. And if we're not, I'll find some place to go sit and talk to the parent or the guardian. If they're involved, if they're not, I'll just kind of go move aside because I want the perspective match. to talk.
Yeah.
Because it's not about me.
Right. Yeah.
It's about them. And I need to see if they get the do they get the click? Do they get the vibe? And the kids, and that's like, hey, little, Johnny, Susie, what have you. I'll be like, did you feel a vibe? Did you get a vibe from that person? Like, how did that
Hmm.
go for you? And
Yeah.
and see what happens. And if they did, awesome. Let's facilitate and get the next session, going. If not, okay, no, thank you, no blame, no shame.
Hmm.
It's okay. Not
Yeah.
everybody's a match, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this idea of listening non-judgmentally, this idea of to just go a little further with what we talk about in terms of effective communication. One of the things that we really look at is trying to understand, from ourselves, what is it that we need in the moment, in the situation. Because one of the things I've noticed in my long life is that often people don't know. You see people who are arguing with each other, and you're like, well, what do you need? I, I, I need him to stop that. No, 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 no. What do you need? And it clarifies things to even think about things like that. So I'm wondering what kinds of things people need that come into this program on both sides. Is that resolved at the beginning? Do people come in knowing what they're after, or does it is it a I don't know, a discovery of what?
I think it's a combination of both because I think that when very often a consistent thread through the mentors that I meet, prospective mentors, and those that decide that this is for them and this is what they want to do, is they feel a passion to want to give back. They feel a passion
Mhm.
that they have this fire inside of them, and an energy that they want to continue to use, and they feel that they could have a positive, fun impact on a young person. I think, and then I think that what happens is, as some of my mentors have evolved and are involved now in longer term relationships, I think that some of the things that have happened, which I kind of like, if I had a crystal ball, I kind of think this would have happened, is is
Mhm.
is that they kind of see some things that they didn't realize they would get from it. Where, like, what they learned from the young person, because I believe that most people understand that there really is so much we can learn from a young person, and I wholeheartedly believe that. And the mentors will be like, "Oh my gosh, like they helped me see something in myself I didn't realize was there, good or bad, or it needs some
Mhm.
help work on, which is just
Yeah,
fine."
yeah.
And I think is pretty cool, and I think that or it has let the mentors realize that their heart and intentions are much more, they're bigger than what they thought they were. Like they had it, they're fulfilled, and they want to do more, and they feel good about it. They feel really good about it, more than they thought they would. And there's no way that you can, like, I when I talk to prospective mentors and mentors, about that feeling, I think they understand that. But when you actually get involved in it and you start to have those, like, oh my gosh, that was like amazing moments, um like, it really, my relationship with this kiddo really mattered.
Mm.
um it's just, it just blows their minds. And For the mentees, in what they want out of it or what do they see, I think that depends on sometimes their age, because we go 14 to 23, right? So a
Mm,
younger
yeah.
person may not have as much insight or totally get what they're going to get out of it, but they want to try it.
Yeah.
Like I want to hang out with this person. I think we're going to have some fun, and I'm going to see if we can build this relationship. Um, and 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 it grows into something super intense and super meaningful. I mean, I've had a couple kids go through some significant crises in their personal lives, and they've gone to their mentor,
Mm,
to talk about it
yeah.
and to be, and just kind of like be listened to. And to me, that is a true indicator of a relationship being built. Great communication, as we're talking about,
Yeah.
trust, huge levels of trust. Um, and um, and I think that builds and evolves over time with a mentee. Um, sometimes mentees will come in and they'll just be pretty straight. Hey, I'm looking for somebody to shoot hoops with because I got nobody. You know,
Hmm.
and
Wow. Yeah.
but like think about that for a second. I've got nobody to shoot hoops with, but just think about what can evolve while you're shooting hoops. What you can
Yeah.
communicate about, what you can learn, what you can share. You know, when you're doing something, like if you're I mean, I guess I could talk about this till the cows come home, right? I'm sure our audience knows anytime you're involved in some kind of activity and you're with a friend, because a mentor and mentee relationship is a friend, right? This is not therapy. This is not clinical. This is not diagnostic.
Oh, this is it. Yeah.
This is about a friendship. So if you're sitting there doing a coloring book together, doing painting together, molding a clay pot together, fishing together, any of the things a mentor mentee could be doing, the communication that occurs, the spontaneous, natural communication that occurs between that, and the listening and the active listening that takes place during that, and the feedback or not the feedback is just, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And these relationships totally foster that. Totally foster that. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what strikes me is that communication that happens when you're not talking, and how important that is, and how far from that we sometimes wander.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in thinking about our own kids as well as, kids that we care about and care for, which is the whole of learning life skills together is really about that. It's about how can we use our life skills to help those kids, and it may be that we use them by shutting up and just letting things happen. Because I was listening to sort of the list of things you were saying. Well, you can shoot hoops, you can go fishing, you can do this, you can do that, and so that's the other part of our program. Really, is we're saying, go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to talk on a walk. It doesn't have to have, oh, our destination is to know more about us. No, our destination is to go for a walk. And if
Yes,
something happens, then that's awesome. And if it doesn't, that's awesome too, because we went for a walk, and we got a little more comfortable just being together.
I know. Oh, it's so important. It was so important. And I wish I could remember the quote. And where I'm going with this is just a couple days ago, I interviewed a prospective mentor, and he actually has reached back out and he's decided he wants to do it. And we talked about just being, and he was so grateful that I brought that up, because sometimes you just need to be. And then he talked about a quote. I can't tell you what it is for my life right now. But it was from somebody famous that was talking about relationships with people and just being. You just need, sometimes you just need to be.
Yeah.
Like, I think that and a good example of that, I think, well, several examples of that is just like, like if you're on a trip with your significant other, or you're home with your significant other, there could be hours between times that you're talking. And
Yeah.
even if you're at home with your kids, and there could be large gaps of time that you're not talking, but you're together. There's comfort, there's safety, there's trust, all that silent communication that is critical for
Yeah.
our positive being, right?
Yeah, no, we miss people when they're not there, not because
Mm,
of what they might say, not because
yes.
of how they might serve us, but because they're not there. That's it.
Hmm.
I need
Hmm.
you here. You
Yeah.
know?
There's
Yeah.
just like some real strength in that just being concept. You know, I have a couple examples of that in mentor-mentee relationships. I have a mentor that was struggling a little bit with her kiddo because she was like, well, she's not talking to me, and she's like, not really, like, we're just, it's, sometimes she just walks around and she has one earbud in her ear, and her other one's not, so I know she's with me, but she's not giving me 100%, and she's not talking all the time, and I'm like, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. She really just needs to know you're there, and
Yeah.
that she can trust you, and she's comfortable with you to be with you, whatever it is you're doing. Even if you just go get that cup of Starbucks, or you go get that ice cream cone, or you just take a walk through the park, like you were just saying, Don, it's just, she just needs you to be there. And she keeps calling you, and she keeps wanting to be with you.
Yeah.
Like, think about what that means.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay, because sometimes we all think we have to keep on talking, and we have to keep on everything, and it's like you keep on talking, and that makes everything, but that's not what we all
No.
need to keep
No.
doing.
No, we need to be together, and we need to be together in our bodies, which is the thing that, I'm really fearful of because, as you were saying, we have to keep talking all the time. Well, we do because you're not here and I'm not there. And so it's kind of like being on the radio. It's like, oh my God, there was dead air.
Mm.
That is the cardinal sin in radio, is for there to be quiet. It's like we're all on all the time because of
Mhm.
the ways that we create. Oh, you didn't text me in the last 20 minutes. What's wrong? Well, if we were in the same room together, it wouldn't matter. And I might reach out and touch your hand or something, or pat you on the shoulder when I go by to get to the kitchen. That's what we need to remember about being human and about being parents and about being people who care about other people.
So true.
Is that,
Very
yeah,
well said.
yeah.
So true. Absolutely.
Those,
Absolutely.
those things matter. And so, that is the paying attention part too, that we sort of mentioned at the very beginning is,
Hmm.
you know, one of our big skills is to pay attention to how we're feeling. And if we get good at that skill, we start to understand how other people feel too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And it's an ongoing practice, right? It's an ongoing,
Totally.
we're all, I'm always working on active listening, trying to get better and better and better at it, and be present. Um, and
Yeah.
so I'm always encouraging my mentors to do that, even my mentees, no matter how young they are, whatever the age might be, is, let's try to listen. Let's try to listen to each other, and especially if some differences occur, because, mentor-mentee relationships aren't perfect, like any human
Oh,
relationship,
yeah.
and things may happen. And that's where I come in, and I kind of help the mentor-mentee kind of figure it out, and work on, like, how are we doing with listening to each other, how are we doing with hearing what we're trying to communicate here, and let's figure this out, and let's talk about it further to see what else it is we can do to improve on this. And then, and in full transparency, sometimes if it doesn't work out, that's okay too. It's okay if a mentor and a mentee relationship doesn't work
Mm,
out, because we don't all get along, do we?
yeah.
Humans we don't all get along. And it's so important for mentors and mentees to understand that there's no shame and no blame in the game. If it doesn't work out, that's okay, because not every relationship in life always works out. And how do they
Yeah.
say? People come and go in our lives,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we hope that, or my goal is that I make a good mentor mentee match, and the overarching goal is that it possibly could be a lifelong relationship. That is the overarching giant goal of this.
Yeah.
And there are
Yeah.
mentee mentees that have known each other for years and years, their whole entire life. The mentors have gone to these people's weddings, gone to their child's christening and bar mitzvahs, and 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 the whole nine. So I know it happens. I mean, I still have mentors, from when, from years ago, that I still talk to. We may not do as much now, but I still talk to
Hmm.
them. So
Yeah.
that's the big goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is a wonderful program. And what would people do if they have heard this and they say, that's something interesting. I might want to do
Well, that would be awesome.
that.
And so my phone number, certainly folks can reach out and call or text me. And that phone number is 484-527. Oh, wait a minute. 484-523. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. Like I can't remember my phone number. 484-523-0927. That's the correct number.
Okay.
484
Yeah,
5.
we'll put that in type
Yeah,
with,
that's funny.
with
Yeah, so
this.
folks can
Sure.
definitely reach out to
Yeah.
me. Yeah, my email is about a mile long. So
Yeah. So
it's
phone is good. You like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
phone's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Definitely the best way. And I want people to understand that a phone call is cool, a text is cool. We could do a Zoom like this. I am here to answer questions and talk about and inform people of what the mentor program is about. Just because you're meeting with me, there is no obligation. This is a volunteer gig. Giving, like, anywhere 4 to 8 hours a month, with the young person. We're asking for a 1 year minimum commitment, which, we need to be committed
Yeah.
and consistent with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
kiddo.
Yeah. Yeah. The kid needs
Um,
that for sure.
absolutely. And, we reimburse for all onboarding costs, because you have to be fully vetted. Got to
Uh-huh.
go through all the clearances, driving
Right.
record, drug screen, the whole 9 yards, because we have to do as best as we can to
Sure.
make sure an adult is safe with the child,
Yeah.
or young adult, I guess, because you think 18 to
Yeah.
23, that is a young adult. And we do all that, but we reimburse for the ones that cost money. And we also have a financial reimbursement program for the cost when you go out for mentoring. So because we did this because we didn't want, things that cost money, obviously gas costs money. We're hoping to get a mileage reimbursement program started
Mm.
July 1,
Right.
which will be good, right?
Yeah.
But we reimburse for the cost of you and the mentor, the mentee, excuse me, of when you go out into the community, because we didn't want finances to be a burden.
Right.
Because we
Yeah.
feel as if you're giving of your time, your heart, your mind, you care, um, you know, and we, sometimes mentors will be, no thank you, I don't need the reimbursement, but it's there to be reimbursed. You give me a receipt,
Right.
I give you your money, you sign that you received the money, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Perfect. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I think so. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. You bet. Well, it has been a pleasure talking with you and learning about Justice Works. And maybe as we get deeper into communication, we'll want to communicate again. So
I would,
look forward to
yeah.
that.
Yeah, thank you, Don. No, this has been an honor. Thank you for inviting me to the program. Thank you for letting me speak about it. I appreciate, being able to talk to the audience more on a more expansive level with regard to communication and mentoring, and how the two truly are interconnected and are important for its success. Um, and I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Yes,
Grateful.
indeed. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much.